Oh my God. They're even younger. These look like freshmen. Some of these look like 8th graders.
Yo, fuck this shit.
6th graders too. They look like they in between 5th to goddamn 9th grade in high school. They all literally got backpacks on too, like they just came straight out of the classroom. Hell no. You're at the Scientology rage and got sandwiched by a whole SWAT team. That's crazy. Is that what we're looking at on the bottom right here? Because I see grown-ups right here. I see a dude in a suit, another dude looks like he's somebody, and I see some people right here. I'm not sure. Well, the video cuts right there. I don't know, man. This is holy shit.
Hey.
Hey.
Is that the Church of Scientology?
Yeah, come inside.
Does Scientology believe in God?
Yeah.
Does Scientology make you sign a billion-year pledge?
No.
Does Scientology believe in past lives?
Big time.
Do you have to wear that uniform to be a Scientologist?
So people were making fun of this guy for looking like Tom Cruise-esque. He looks like a cross between like Tom Cruise and Tom Holland a little bit.
Only if you want to.
Does Scientology believe in aliens?
Not Scientology.
How do I get started?
Call me.
The Scientology speedrun trend was started by this kid right here. And yeah, that happens to be me. So let me catch you guys up on what happened after I did this speedrun. So I ended up doing over 100 million views with that one speedrun, but there's a slight problem. Yeah, as you can see, there's an account warning right here because Scientology happened to strike the shit out of me. As you can see, all 4 of my videos got community violations and taken.
Oh, so you had 4. So when I got to his page before, the original was gone. So he got over 100 million. God damn.
Off of my page.
Probably fast as hell,
one
too.
of the videos literally getting over 50 million views on TikTok alone and over 5.3 million likes. Yeah, apparently if I get one more strike on my account, you see that word right there? Yeah, banned! For your information, I am still alive. Well, at least for now. Hopefully, you know, they don't mess with me. Did I mention there's literally been hundreds of articles written about this Scientology speedrun? If you ask Google about the Scientology run,
The Scientology speedrunning is literally, Google it, it's literally in Wikipedia now. Whoever did the Wikipedia work,
you can literally see right here the origin.
unless it is super easy, and I just don't know, I probably sound like a dummy right now to some people.
Is by Swiley, which is my username, and I've gained nearly 100 million views. For your information, yes, I've seen all the insane speedruns that have happened recently, and I don't condone anything they've been doing.
Yeah, don't do
Scientology,
that.
y'all. This might be my last video.
Now, in the other video I did before this, the video I put of her speed running, it was the second time she did it. So this is the first time I didn't see.
But let's go in.
So this is apparently the basement area. They're calling this the basement. Okay, she's going down 2 floors. Now, mind you, I don't know what building she's in either. I have no idea what building she's in. Hey there.
Hi.
I don't recognize you. I'm Nikki.
Oh, hi, Nikki. I'm Julia.
Julia?
Yes.
Oh,
nice
cool.
to see you. I'm just looking for the restroom.
Oh, I can show you. Are
Perfect.
you on course?
Am I on course?
Yeah.
What is, I don't know.
you just came in and used the restroom?
Yeah.
In the second video, they said the same thing. Are you on a course?
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's one upstairs that we normally people use when they walk in. Have you ever been to this Church of Scientology before?
Yeah, I've been here before. I was thinking about joining,
Oh yeah?
but I never ended up joining.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did you ever take any classes or anything?
Here she goes.
No. I did the personality test,
Oh yeah?
but that's about it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool. Here,
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Okay. It's the bathroom.
guys.
Okay.
We're not done here. We need to get more. I figured this out. Yeah? Yeah, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. Should I go this way?
We're not done here. Like, what exactly is the goal when they do this? Like, I don't get, like, it looks clean. It looks nice in here. Okay.
Restroom?
No, I just went to the. Oh. Okay, is there a way to leave out here? Do I have to go?
No, it's
Oh,
You
okay.
come in the back door or you come in the front?
Yeah, I came in the front door, but my car's back there.
Oh, okay. And then we have a lecture to Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, when I came, it was like a year ago.
Oh,
but
yeah?
I got so busy, and then I never
A
came
year
back.
ago? Goddamn.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
you guys
welcome.
are so welcoming. People are always so like odd like weird about this place, but like, you guys are just so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, he's suspicious.
Anyways.
He's suspicious of her, of course.
No, we didn't.
Okay, so even before I get to this one, right, there's a map that people put up. Right, so even when they're running through one of the buildings, I think it's on like the second floor or something like that, maybe. But there is like a blueprint thing for like, I guess it's by like a fire escape. You know, everybody has to have a blueprint to get out the building, like a fire escape thing or whatever. But anyway, there's a map. I'm not sure if it's the same map, but they put this floor, then this is not done. They said this is the basement. This is where she got to. Now, I don't think this basement that she went to is even in the same building, because when they put the map up, I think they're going off the first building that they went in twice, like multiple times, and I think they went to the second floor of that building. I think these two pieces are of the same building, maybe. This basement thing they're making fun of, saying, oh, this is what she got to, and this is the unfinished basement. The building she went to looks completely different, because they're doing this in different buildings. Her building don't even look like the front entrance. What could be the front entrance is not even the same front entrance that the map of the second and first floor. You know what I mean? Plus the second floor isn't even correctly mapped out. They're just playing around, because the second floor, from what I saw, got a crap ton of rooms, like a shitload. You know what I mean? So I don't know, they're just messing around, but they put this as the unfinished basement, is what she went to, and it looks like she really did just get that far. In the second video, it looks like she got a bit further. So it is what it is. It's just, they're just being stupid. And once again, do I condone this? No. Oh no, they're knocking over shit. Paper. Oh wow. Like, what is the goal? Just to do this, and you're not finding anything. Secret papers. Because their whole thing is, you know, people expose Scientology is like child trafficking stuff and all this cult stuff. Okay, the cult stuff is every religion, people, you know, cult. But then they're saying the child stuff. I don't know. They're looking for that. Like I said in the first video I did for this, there's gonna be some secret umbrella corporation, Resident Evil Blue Umbrella BSAA room in the bottom that has retina scannings and stuff. It's not gonna be up in plain sight. Hell no, if they got some crazy shit like that going on. It's gonna be underground somewhere.
Keep going.
So this accomplishes just getting on their nerves, really.
Me and my friends are raiding the
Oh
church
my
sign
God.
bond. Yeah!
Are you serious?
Go! Let's go!
Wow.
MBD! Let's go! Latino! Jesus and Jesus!
You're just running into different rooms, just getting to the end of each hallway.
They go in the building. Go, 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 go!
You just run as far as you can through the building, touch the dead end, go another.
What's up, retards? This is the famous...
Hold on, what'd she say? Hold on, I didn't catch that. It says I'm gonna find out where you guys live, and we're gonna don't do that. You're gonna get shot. They might shoot.
Famous. This is the
find a red beam on your forehead, lady. Do not do that. Or she meant send people to the house. Don't get people killed either. Don't do that.
Celebrity Scientology Center, retards.
The celebrity
Did you hear
center.
that? Oh shit, dude, they're yelling at me already. Let's go.
It says celebrity center. You know they're gonna have that place on live.
I know, but I want to get some like actual good footage because I don't know if I.
Is it
Look, they're shining a light. Look,
security?
you get me?
Who's a security dude on the bike over there
Look,
too?
he's
Is that
shining
security
right at
dude
us.
too with
He's
the bike?
right on you right now.
Yeah, just a regular guy.
They're fucking pissed. They're fucking pissed. Armed response. Up on us. The armed response unit. Oh my god, there's 3 of them.
Armed response.
Your activities are being recorded for the LAPD. If you break the law, you will be arrested.
Everything's recorded nowadays, buddy. Every single thing.
Yeah, but I'm on the street.
Private property. If you break the law, you will be arrested.
No, I'm not. But
Suspicious activities are being recorded.
is the street private property too?
No, I'm giving you a warning.
Oh, so I'm good over here?
I'm giving you a warning.
Okay, so I'm good right here. Just get my guard.
And you just laying on the ground. What
See
the?
when you're shining that in my face. I
See, the thing is, they're threatening the rest this time. Now, the thing is, I can't appreciate Scientology. They have not called the police on actual people running through the building. I guess they have, and they just never got there in time, but I haven't seen one arrest or anything or police showing up, or they just haven't been quick to call the police on people just running through the building. They haven't done that at least. Okay, so they're letting y'all run away, run around, going crazy scot-free.
Right through my eyeball. Just get my guard.
All right, man, he's stretching it.
There's like you can't see for shit when you're doing that. This is the Scientology Center. They're really fucking. They got this thing held down.
Dude, the one dude was reaching for something,
I know,
bro.
he was going like this, reaching on his
Yeah.
I mean, he said armed response.
and he's
or
just
something
blinding
like that,
me,
so
bro. Consistently just blinding me.
got
Now they
something.
got K9s out. They got.
If they got
fucking
K9s, they got something
This
else.
is the Church of the Scientology, the one that celebrities go to.
Let's go.
He's got a dog running with the dog. Go show it. Show the citizen.
The celebrities definitely go through a whole different entrance. They got an underground parking lot or something, so you can't see them go in. They wouldn't have a celebrity building that big if there weren't a ton of celebrities that are secretly, you know. Now it's crazy because there's some celebrities that are secretly Muslim or secretly Jewish.
Dude, we're in a whole different parking lot. Another car. Group trying to. Dude, what the fuck, bro? They changed the name. Armed forces right there.
What? Melbourne. Oh, wow. Australia? They didn't go on speed running the world with this. Outside the country. Shannon.
Guys, all it took was a bunch of kids running through the Scientology building for them finally to remove their all are welcome sign.
Damn.
But if you want, you could see the original series, The True Story of Scientology there.
I don't think we saw that.
See, look, the doorknobs are missing. They took the signs off. Everything's online. They're treating this building like COVID now.
Or scan it here. They're now using QR codes all over. Scan and get a book.
Damn, it's the shutdown for them.
Do you
Damn.
guys think that anybody's actually going to scan this? I don't think anybody's actually going to scan that. Update though, door handles are still off. Door handles are still off.
Jesus.
Looks like they even got some new sort of camera or alarm or something here.
Some type
Just
of sensor or
completely
something.
removed the books out of this window. They were like, screw it, nobody's buying them anyways.
So this is in Amsterdam, I think? Is it? I think it's Amsterdam. If I'm not mistaken. Oh my god, this is crazy. Now they're hoping to get to magnetize some people into this. Scientology themselves, like maybe we can nab some of them and get them to be believers or something like that. I don't know. They're also saying this as an opportunity. They're gonna try to flip it. Damn, they're screaming that? Damn. Was that a firework or something? So this is in Paris or is it Prague? I don't know. This definitely ain't America. I can't even tell what he was speaking. I think I know what he's saying. All over the world, dude. And they got loudspeakers, man. If they're knowingly like they've known they've been stalking people and all, I don't think Scientology can do that no more. They got a gang. They got the whole planet. I don't think they want this smoke no more. This. I don't know where this is. Damn. Oh my god. And these are all kids, dude. Holy moly. Did they lock him in? They locked him in the building.
Tak proč sem dneska přišli?
Nás zajímalo, jak to vlastně bude vypadat a neměli jsme plánu tam jít, ale strašně nás zajímalo, kolik přijde lidí. Docela nás to vlastně překvapilo, že tady přišlo
okay, they actually brought the police in.
60 lidí tam naběhlo jen tak.
Já jsem sem přišel, protože jsem viděl na Instagramu příspěvek, že se tady koná nějaký raid do této budovy, kde by údajně měly být nějaký kanceláře Scientologické.
No, I don't know what they're saying.
Co se týče Scientologie, tak celkově tuto církev pozoru dlouhodobě. A určitě si
We can see what's going on. Look, aliens, miserable parents.
Že v Česku
I can't even see what
it's
in between. Oh, wow.
Moc vám nerozumím, ale budu věřit, že jste říkal, že vás zajímala tady ta akce. A měl jste v plánu jít dovnitř?
He's Resident Evil presenting.
Ano.
Ale nepovedlo se.
Ano, já to nechci.
There was a time that I truly appreciated what I was seeing on
I know who this is.
platforms like TikTok, people who were never in Scientology talking about it in a way that could reach others, especially younger people, and help prevent them from being involved. That kind of awareness was very important and it had a purpose, but this is not that.
No,
what I'm seeing now, running into Scientology buildings, harassing staff, provoking reactions for TikTok is not really exposure. It feels like it's about clicks, and it's turning something serious into content. And in doing so, it completely loses the point, because this trend creates chaos. It creates a spectacle.
This is happening with a lot of other situations going on in the world too, for clicks and views. Shall we not say the few situations that are going on right now? You know what I mean? But at the same time, Miss, this is doing something else. This is kind of putting them back into a corner for them to look at other things differently now that the whole world is pounding down on their facilities, tearing that shit up. This is crazy. I don't condone that at all, period. But it's they got the door handles off the building. They're physically doing things, removing things from the window. They're backed into a corner, kinda, sorta. I think they're just taking precautions on how to handle the physical attributes of the building.
Oh, and worse
without getting their property destroyed, you know what I mean? Coming in and they got to pay. Who's paying for the damages?
Well, it hands Scientology exactly what they want: the ability to position themselves as the victim. And understand this too. This is for your own safety. You know, they're going to go after you. They're going to involve law enforcement. They're going to have you arrested if they can, for one purpose: to silence your voice and your platform. So this actually benefits them. They want to be able to say that they're being harassed. They want to reinforce this false narrative that they're a legitimate religion being persecuted, and you're playing into that narrative.
I don't see it as that. I don't see it as that, because this is not, you know, you got people going F Scientology, all this other stuff. What's the reason for that? You can easily see what the reason is for that. That's another thing.
The people inside the Scientology, they're trained to react in a certain way to make themselves appear as though they're being harassed and victimized. So
no, they are being harassed.
It may feel like exposing something is really, in reality, distracting from the real dangers of Scientology. That's what they want. But there's so many ways to help. And those of you on
But this is going to expose Scientology in a way to where people want to find out why people are doing this. And then when people go to the depths of the bottom of the holes to find out, they're going to, I guess, see some things. I don't know anything. I just know rumors and what people say. I don't really know. She knows people. She knows things. She may be seeing things. I have no idea.
TikTok, you're incredibly creative, and you've already shown that you could bring awareness to the dangers of Scientology in ways that actually reach people. I'm just telling you that this isn't that. I'm asking you to rethink this trend and to use the same creativity to highlight the real and very serious dangers of this organization in ways that truly help. So thank you for trying to help, and I thank you in advance for helping.
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and ladies and gentlemen, we've got a wild thing to talk about today. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this group called Scientology. I'm sure that a lot of you guys watching, and whoever is interested in true crime, whoever's interested in things like cults, probably knows what Scientology kind of is. For anybody that's completely new and out of the loop, Scientology is in fact a religion started by a science fiction writer called L. Ron Hubbard quite a while back. And this religion, which, you know, a lot of celebrities like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, a lot of these people are part of, is very...
Okay, let's get Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Robert. I don't know who some of these people are. Jason Lee? Jason Lee, come on. I don't know about that one. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. I mean, whatever.
Very controversial, a religion that, you know, a lot of people, if you really get down to the brass tacks of it, is just, it's weird. It really is just a weird religion. And it's one of those things that's super popular in places like Los Angeles, places like Florida. And of course, understandably, I think a lot of people have been targeted by the church over the last several decades. And it's just one of these things where when you really start talking about the story, it is a confusing mess. But why are we talking about Scientology today? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have had my own little brushes with Scientology. I've actually been to some of these places in Los Angeles.
What?
But I never had the balls to do what some children are actually doing nowadays. So to give you an idea, there's been this trend called #Scientology speedrun. So a bunch of kids in Los Angeles are deciding to raid this particular building, the L. Ron Hubbard building.
This is the main one.
It's actually close to the...
Not the main building, but the one there, they started doing this.
Actually right on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Sunset. So let's watch one of these raid videos first and get an idea of what's actually going on. So basically, in these clips, a lot of these children have been running inside these Scientology buildings.
These niggas
and the
stupid.
Scientologists have been stopping them. So here you can see they go in with the air horns. It's a whole bunch of kids. They run into the buildings, basically go down all of these hallways everywhere they can. Now, of course, understandably, this is trespassing, so I'm not actually endorsing it. I don't think that that's cool. But these kids have decided to run through a place that I've only ever seen the lobby of. I actually went into this building, just the lobby. And these kids are deciding to go back in or out. The actual Scientologists are like trying to push them out of it. Like it's crazy. Fucking crazy. Now, again, I've been in this building once, right? I actually had the privilege of talking to somebody at the reception. I believe her name was like Twilla. And I talked to her. I remember my wife was with me and she was enamored by it, right? She did not go into the building. I decided to walk in. I had a chat and she tried to get me to go into the back and watch like a video, which I did not. I actually was able to get out because thankfully a bunch of children who didn't rush in were just screaming how Scientology was a cult at the time. So I got out of it, didn't go in and watch the video, but I have a different actual story about that too, okay? But anyways, this was one of those videos. Now this trend immediately started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's actually more of these videos out there. In fact, people have been doing this trend so much that in this case, the Scientology buildings have decided to actually lock their buildings off, okay? They've barred entry because so many kids are doing this now, trying to get into the Scientology building. In fact, in some cases, they'll just pry open the door like this, send in the entire team, and just start fucking raiding the place. I mean, it's actually insane to see, man. I mean, this is the wildest shit. So they're actually running down the straight entry. They're grabbing the books. This is where I would have been sent to watch the tape, I imagine. But yeah, they're just getting kicked out immediately. It is, you know, what people were often afraid to do back in the day, a bunch of these Zoomer kids on TikTok are just doing it for the fucking memes. I mean, it's crazy to a point. People are dressing up like Jesus Christ for crying out loud.
Yeah, the Jesus one got me.
There's really not much you can do when like 20, 30 kids have decided to run through the entire building. I mean, it is insane. And here,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
They actually went to the second floor, and yeah, that was Sonic running through the entire thing as well. So you can see they're being chased by like the actual...
So there was another building where a dude also went to the second floor, but it was a different second floor unless he went to the same building, went through a different upstairs to the other side of the second floor. But the building that I'm talking about with the other kid ran up to the second floor looked like a completely different building, but whatever, who knows? These buildings are huge.
Staff. This is something that I would never have expected to see, and now kids are just doing it. It's one of those trends where I can't endorse, but at the same time, like, Scientology is such a controversial, such an interesting religion that it's hard for me to even sympathize with them. Now, there's been so many runs that something that I found
this
really
basement map crap.
I'm not even joking, because people have started to map this shit out. So you know when you play games like Metroid back in the day, and they didn't come with a map screen, and you had to like draw the map of like of the fucking planet and shit just as you were playing it? Yeah, well, there have been so many like raids that people have started to like map out, for instance, the actual floor plan to the Scientology building. So literally from the actual like lobby, you can run down this hallway. You can see elevators. I guess you could say like a common area, what appears to be this classroom, and of course the question marks or the areas that are unexplored. Okay.
So what is this? What is
like
this?
it's like a video game. They're filling up the map as they fucking go. So only 2 floors have been breached in the Scientology speedruns. And
y'all saw that the first picture was like supposedly the part of the basement. Like nobody's ever made it to the full part of the basement yet.
Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much what it kind of comes down to. Now, there's obviously more videos that are coming day by day.
Yeah, there's a
This
ton,
is one of those trends that I thought was going to
I didn't even get all of them in here. There's a lot, man. I'm not
last for like a day. And Scientology was actually pretty quiet about this until they made like an actual statement about this a day ago.
No,
like
until the kid got 100 million goddamn views on his speedrun when him and his buddy went.
It's crazy. So the Church of Scientology tells the LA Times that this speedrunning like situation, the speedrunning community that's targeting the Scientology building is, they're participating in trespassing, harassment, and disruption of religious facilities. Over recent weeks, individuals have repeatedly forced their way into church properties on Hollywood Boulevard, disrupted religious and public facilities, damaged the property, and endangered staff, parishioners, and visitors. Turning its space into targets for viral stunts is not journalism, protest, or civic activities. And there have been like people that are critics of the church, like Leah Remini, who's probably been one of the most like publicly outspoken. She used to be like a member. She was on TV, like she was a celebrity in Los Angeles, still is. But she was somebody that, she's not somebody that necessarily agrees with this because, to a lot of people, they'll look at this and think you're just giving the Scientologists like a win by like harassing them and sort of like trespassing in their buildings.
I don't see this as a win. I just don't.
And some people just feel that it's warranted because Scientology has such a stink and controversy around it, which we'll kind of dig into it as well. It's not undeserved whatsoever. But yeah, anyways, the cops are involved. The LAPD is monitoring this. And apparently even the church officials are now accused this of being like a hate crime.
No.
Like,
I wouldn't say,
get the fuck out of here, dude.
Nah,
a hate crime?
It's not a hate crime.
Now, ultimately, the end of this, one of the things that obviously I want to talk about is beyond just these videos, like this trend isn't really wild on its own, simply because it's just Scientology. But my experience with Scientology is actually a little bit less intensive than what these teens have been doing. I remember like my first time ever going to like a Scientology building was one of their celebrity centers in Los Angeles. I remember I was telling like Jen at the time, like we should probably just fucking check it out. Like
he said one of them, but I'm just gonna go with that. It was the one where the guy, we just saw the video where the guy was at night just laying in the ground looking crazy. This is looking wild.
We're in like, it's a big thing in Los Angeles. So I was like, all right, let's go check it out. So we go to their celebrity center and they actually allowed the public to come in. Now, I feel like using Google Earth is probably the best way to describe the story, simply so
Hold on, so I'm trying to look outside on the street. So I think the guy, this looks like, see what this arrow is? This looks like a gate where he was laying on the street. I'm just guessing, because this looks like inside of the quarters of the parking lot, and it looks like 2 buildings. This is attached to the same parking lot. Maybe it's they just got the 1 building. Maybe they got 2. I don't know. Oh wait, no. This is Scientology. No, this is a pool. This isn't the blue building. So it's this building. I'm guessing where this arrow is. I see trees. I guess he was around laying right here. This looks like a gate. No, is there I don't know. Cause I can't see what's in front of here. I don't know. I'm guessing it. I don't know if it was a celebrity sitting in Florida or Los Angeles or whatever that the guy was laying down on the front of the street on. It looks like it could be this one, but
I can show you exactly the pathway to madness. Now, we basically parked our vehicle somewhere around like this area, obviously a few blocks away. I didn't want to actually park the vehicle inside their parking lot, so we actually walked up all the way over here where a guard actually met us. He had basically held us over here for like...
so this is this is it. This is the building. So he was laying in the street right here. Move my head out the way for a second. Right here, he was laying in the street, and they had the gate. Is there a gate here? It looks like this gate, if there's a gate here, it looks like this gate might have been closed. It looks like the area. So I'm going to say that the gate was right here, was closed. He was over here acting stupid, and they just had the lights on him right here. And I guess this is the building back here. I'm guessing this is what it looks like. I'm thinking, because I remember the trees and everything else. So
probably 5 minutes to basically radio in with somebody from the actual church to come over here and meet us. So we waited like 5, maybe like 10 minutes at the most. But anyways, basically somebody came.
I'm looking for the sign on the street that says Celebrity Center. I can't see it, but maybe it's not the building. Who knows?
Down over here, we walked down this parking lot until we had reached this section where there was this like cafe that you're seeing over here.
Okay, so they got two buildings.
I swear
okay.
It felt as if like people were just sort of placed there for us to see if people were just having like a drink or two, because the actual cafe was closed, but sitting outside were like two people sipping coffee. So I always found that to be weird. But then we ended up walking inside, I believe here, to which, like, you know, if you navigate inside the building, we were probably sitting at this section. And over here, like, you just meet like these church individuals that start playing a video, and we made it like 10 minutes through the video until like Jen was like, we should get the fuck out of here, because as you're watching the video, what she had noticed, though, is like somebody was just like looking at us over and over and just like typing things into a computer. So at that point, we just got up, and they're very like, they definitely want you to stay. They try to talk you into staying. So you have to basically say no a bunch of times and try to leave until you are effectively allowed to leave out of the area. To which point, we got out of here, we walked the fuck out as quick as we could, found our vehicle, and effectively just left. That was my big experience at one of these Scientology celebrity centers, which they're open to the public. It's just a very weird way that they're open to the public. It's not like a traditional church or a mosque.
Well, he was talking about this building that we're looking at just now, and he was saying about the video. So he was actually watching a video. But then earlier he was talking about, I guess he was going into another building that the kids were running through. I guess it was that building. Because he said the first time, so this is the first time he went. So the second time he went was the other building from before, and he didn't even get to watch whatever video they were going to show him, whether it was going to be the same video or not. So when they were running, I noticed, I'm remembering now that he said, I think this is where they were going to be, like, I'm guessing where the kids are running now, this is where they would be taking me to watch the video. That's what he was guessing. So
mosque or a synagogue or any religious building where I think anybody is really just kind of allowed to walk in as long as they're respectful. Now, ultimately, because of these like entire speed runs, there's like two camps of individuals that, you know, think this is either good or bad. So again, like I said, Leah Remini thinks that this is counterproductive. So she's somebody that wants people to, you know, be talking about the dangers and criminality of Scientology, but ultimately harassment like this doesn't really help out, versus somebody like Jenna Hill, who is literally the niece of David Miscavige, going and saying, you know, what these kids are kind of doing is trolling Scientology, getting these viral views.
It's the fact that conversation, you keep talking and talking and talking and talking, get people more talking. All you're going to do is just talking, you'll sit around, you ain't going to do nothing, you're physical, you know, fuck they shit up or something like that. You know, that's where it comes in. You're just going to get people to talk, get people not to join, get people to go against Scientology. What else do you want to do? You wanted to get the buildings torn down? You want to get their contracts taken away or something? You want to go in and mess up their finances? Or you want to go in and get the police involved and say it's a terrorist organization? What the hell you want to do? Like, what's your goal? And just get more people to talk about it. Then what? And these kids, it looks like something physical is being done to deter people. Like, oh, snap. Like, oh, these kids are really mess up their property, do something physical to kind of back them into a corner. So now that conversation is being had and this is being done and more people are going to look into it. And like I said in the beginning, I said Scientology is also hoping to probably reel in some people from the back. Like I said, y'all running in, but you come over here. See, this is what we're really about. See, I don't know why y'all doing this. They hope to bring some people in this way too, baby. I don't know. I don't know nothing.
And it's literally just,
I'm just an average guy,
making Scientology as an institution actually uncomfortable, right? And she actually appreciates that kind of stuff. So there's a debate, you know, amongst the ex-Scientologists and the people that want this cult to have more scrutiny. They're debating if this is good or bad. Now, the big response from Scientology over here has also been for the people participating in this run. They actually are worried about like reprisals from the church. So in one of the people that was involved in the most recent speed runs, they spoke to the Times, and they were, you know, they wanted to be anonymous because they were worried that if the church and the LAPD were going to go after them because of this kind of stuff too. And it isn't uncommon for the church, or at least, you know, for the organization to think of, you know, being litigious towards some of their biggest critics and some of the people opening light on this. Again, this is why Scientology is like one of these like controversial religions, because again, you know, when you look into the Scientology and you go beyond the South Park stuff where they showed the beliefs of Scientology, you know,
I forgot South Park did this whole Scientology. I completely forgot.
But like Xenu and the whole Thetans coming to planet Earth, you know, Xenu escaping from galactic prison, throwing like a whole bunch of like souls into Earth's volcanoes and all that shit, and those like souls like infesting it. It's truly a wild religion. And I don't really like to get into the specifics of it because, you know, you can talk to a Scientologist and they'll tell you, hey, I mean, you believe in a different sort of sky god, so who are you to say if you're right? And the reality of it is we could argue about the theology back and forth.
People do that. It is an argument with, you know, the whole belief system, oh, Muslim, Christian, Jew, whatever. You know, Jews don't really be arguing too much about shit. It's just mainly like Christians and Muslims going at it about, believe this, blah, 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 right? The whole thing is, they say you can't go and tell somebody that what they believe in is false because they never heard of what the hell you talking about either. You can't go to some island off of Chang Chang Pompo, right? I just made that place up. Chang Chang Pompo. You go to Chang Chang Pompo Island, and all of a sudden, they tell you what they believe and what they've read and what their history, you know, goes back further than yours. Our history goes back 500,000 years. We got this stuff here, and you'd be like, no, that's wrong. You got to believe in blah, 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 this, and Muhammad, and Jesus, and this. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? We never heard of those people. We have a dude named Machocho on McClang Clang Island, and Machocho was a half dragon, half Super Saiyan, half bird bat guy who breathed fire out his nose, his ears, and his asshole. And then they tell you what they believe. Then you're like, no, that's wrong. And they're like, what are you talking about? That's wrong. We don't even know who Jesus is and none of that stuff. We know who this guy is. You can't tell. It goes in a whole never-ending loop of bullshit. You know what I mean? So, hey.
But it's really how the church conducts itself, you know, by being so, I guess you could say, by being so offensive to some of its critics, and also at the same time, the focus of money is something that, you know, while other religions do have things like tithes and donations, it seems like for Scientology, it's very important that the church centralizes and gathers as much money as they can from the people that are their most like loyal parishioners. Now, what was really interesting about this building that I wanted to talk about too, that was really, really important, was the fact that the building these kids were sort of rushing into contains what is the most controversial wing of Scientology, is the OSA. Now, like System Shock 2, the OSA in reality land is the Office of Special Affairs. Now, what the fuck the Office of Special Affairs does is where things start to get really, really wild. So the OSA, when it comes to Scientology, is basically compared to as an intelligence agency. So some people compare it to things like the CIA or the KGB. And of course, the department's job is at this point to target critics of the church with things like dead agent operations or character assassination, right? So if you're somebody that's outspoken, let's say you're like a former celebrity, these people will do everything they allegedly can to ruin your fucking life. It's, you know, publicly, it's for legal affairs and the public relations, but obviously a lot of people have focused on things like Scientology targeting you for being critical of it. So this is a 26-year-old article from The Guardian, and they talk about how, you know, the Church of Scientology agrees to pay things like libel damages to former members of the church for waging what they consider to be a hate campaign against them.
Damn.
So the controversial church...
What do they call this going on? Shit.
Which was founded in the 50s, so again, by a late science fiction writer called L. Ron Hubbard, who literally is an individual that, you know, has a lot of connections to things that people find very, very controversial, things like the Sea Org, for instance, where it, you know, there's allegations of people who work for Scientology at such low cost, people who are effectively indentured in a very unfair manner to the church in such a disgusting way where when you really look into it, you wonder how the fuck is it even legal in the United States of America? But it turns out a lot of stuff can be legal that shouldn't be in the country.
I mean, in the video I did before this, I'm gonna link it down below. You can go watch it, but these kids walk into a Scientology building. I don't know how old they are. I'm just calling them kids. I don't know. They look like they're like maybe early 20s. I have no idea. They're not kids, but young adults. But the thing is, they walked in there and they were actually asking regular questions and they were answering their questions. And what he's saying is a more extreme version of, hey, you know, low wages, getting very low, whatever. I'm going to jump to it. There's an old guy in there that has been with Scientology. I think he said for like 40 years, over 40, something like that. 50 years, 40 years, something like that, right? And he was working there, and they asked him, "Yeah, I want to be hired on. I want to, He said, "Well, yeah, you got to do some stuff before we even hire you or bring you on." And I think they were asking him something about the pay here. They were like, "Hey, what's the pay here?" And the dude was like, "Well, we do pay you, but you can't make no career out of this. Like, this is not the place where you can just make a living here. This is not it. I'm gonna tell you this now." They weren't lying to him. They were just like, "Yo, bro, this ain't it. If you want to, you want to be a part of this for real, like if you just want to be a part of this and then expect you to make a living wage out of working here, that ain't gonna happen." The dude told him straight up. He didn't even lie to him. He said, "Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie."
I mean, it's just interesting. You never really see like a intelligence agency for the Catholics or the Muslims or anyone. You just sort of see it for this organization that for this one religion out of California, out of Florida, really. And ultimately, there's a lot of people that are targeted.
Did Scientology first? Because I didn't read like the synopsis on where it started. I can Google it probably right now. Like where Scientology started. Did Scientology start in Florida? Is that where it came up out of?
That are actually from free zone organizations. So, in terms of Scientology, where a lot of money is spent on upgrading your OT levels, by spending money on, all the forms of religious practices they have to do in regards to the auditing that members have to go through. There's a lot of people that are...
Scientology originated in the United States in the early 1950s with its foundational indigenous principles developed in Arizona. The first official church incorporated into New Jersey. So it came out of Arizona, and the first official church was in New Jersey. Damn. That's a long way to go. Shit. Okay.
Free zone
Phoenix.
Scientologists. So people that believe in the Scientology religion. Again, there's a lot of people that this religion helps them out. And there's people that have realized, hey, we shouldn't be a religion that's charging people insane amounts of cash.
Yeah.
We should just be doing this stuff for free because that's what we believe in. Now, ultimately, these are individuals that the church obviously doesn't like, because you can imagine that they're taking away the financial gain that the church has with people just giving away stuff for free, right? Now look, a lot of us can probably look at something like Scientology and think, damn, what a fucking crazy good grift, man, to start a religion, bypass things like taxes, and just make a shit ton of cash out of this. In fact, what's also interesting about the Church of Scientology versus other religions that I found was super interesting were things like Operation Snow White, for instance.
What the hell is that?
Now, for anybody that doesn't know what Operation Snow White was...
I'm only thinking, I'm on any operation, and they say anything has to do with anything white, powder, Operation Powder, Snow White, whatever. I'm thinking of cocaine. I don't know, it's a drug bust.
Operation Snow White was basically a criminal conspiracy at the time that alleged that the Church of Scientology during the 70s were actually trying to purge records of Scientology and specifically L. Ron Hubbard back in the day. So they would apparently infiltrate into like over 130 government agencies, embassies, consulates, you name it, as well as actual private organizations that were critical of the Church of Scientology. And it was one of the largest infiltrations, apparently, of the U.S. government in history, to the point where they had allegedly 5,000 covert agents inside. So Scientology operatives would commit things like infiltration, they would wiretap, they would literally steal in government offices. And guess what government office in particular came out? The U.S. Internal Revenue Service. So, you know how they say never fuck with the IRS?
Oh,
well, this is a religion that absolutely fucked with the Internal Revenue Service. And it turns out they fucking won somehow, man. That is crazy shit. So you can actually read it, right? The government, the feds, had even agreed to give the tax exemption to the Church of Scientology, which allowed the church to have access to, again, huge things like tax exemption, which is great for your monetary flow. It's great to get the government...
I mean, they fought their way into a full-blown real religion. Like, nah, fam, we just like the church. Taking money for everybody. Everybody going to the pot. You know what I'm saying? Pastors getting paid $900,000 a year. They said we want that too.
Off your back when it comes to auditing your finances. And of course, ultimately, it took literally decades for the IRS, the U.S. government, and the Scientologists to organize and do everything over here, right? To get this working. And of course, the exemptions were granted as part of this large settlement between the government and organizations that focused on these legal disputes that went back since the foundation of the church. Again, this is articles from the 90s at this point. So officials at the Internal Revenue Service said the decision granting the Scientologist tax-exempt status does not change the standards for determining when an institution is considered religious for tax purposes. Again, it's not really easy, from my understanding, to start a religion and gain tax exemption. Again, anybody, if it was that easy, a lot more people would be starting these quasi-religions, funneling their money through them, and be given tax-exempt status. How Scientology was able to achieve this is rather an interesting story on its own to go down. And to give an idea, going to things like the office, the OSA, when it comes to Scientology, is a term that they like to use called fair game, which means that if you're critical of Scientology, it's basically fair game for them to do anything they want to go after you.
Damn.
Because you're a threat to their church, you're a threat to their religion, you're a threat to their members. And even though they don't use the term anymore...
Now you got like thousands of people like going, you gonna go after all these kids? I know not, like, right? Like probably the main ones that have their accounts filming these speed runs and things like that, they're probably going to get the names and track to where they live, where they are, or whatever. There's a lady was like, I'm going to go to your house. There's so many kids. I just hope it don't turn into nothing deadly to where some kid's dad is a part of the fucking mafia, and then you start trying to infiltrate them, and then all of a sudden you uncover that Scientology ends up... It'll be Scientology versus a criminal underworld of brass dad. And now you... Please, y'all, Scientology, y'all got to be careful this time. People being careful of y'all, but this time, man, do not do that. Don't. You got to be careful. They're going to know which kids to go after. They're going to be like, oh, okay, this kid's dad is a part of the goddamn cartel. All right, we don't want to do that. We're gonna go a different way to Timothy over here. Please. It's about to call a whole mess.
More because of the backlash they got starting it, let's not forget that fair game is still something used up to the present day by the Church of Scientology to critics that are actually unable to fight back against their legal mechanisms. That's why I'm very careful about what I say. Again, everything that I've said in this video are just allegations. I have really nothing substantial.
Especially me, I don't know shit. It's just rumors and things that people say that might not be true. It might be. I have no idea. People say, oh my God, Scientology this. Like they said, the kids stuff earlier. I had no idea even about that till this year. I'm like, when did those allegations? I ain't been paying attention really until these speed runs started happening. I'm like, shit, okay.
That I want to say personally about the Church of Scientology.
Like he's even been into the building and went and said like, yeah, watching the tape, there was a guy in the corner. I don't have none of those details like that. I don't even live anywhere near a Scientology building.
Especially considering how litigious they actually are. I think it's important that people start to look deeper into this religion because there are people that
I'm not even telling people to do that.
Who kind of, there are people that I've seen in Los Angeles around this religion, especially younger people that seem like they're kind of brought into this fold. And it seems like, at least in my experience, they look as if they're taken advantage of. And that's not something I or really any normal person actually enjoys watching for obvious fucking reasons. So, it's one thing, I feel like when it comes to these, Scientology speedruns, like, yeah, they're funny, goofy videos to look at, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the places that they're running into are places that have had an aura of, mystique surrounding them, right? Obviously, people were kind of worried about what was going on inside these buildings. Are some of the people that joined the Church of Scientology, are they people that are now indentured to them? These are people that, from what I've heard, from what I've read, some of these young people, they leave their families behind, sometimes travel internationally just to join these religions.
Oh, wow.
And, their family members want them to come back, obviously.
That's believable.
But these people are now indoctrinated into this new religion that they have.
Especially if you're flying here, you're by yourself, and you hear about, just from Timmy that lives down the street. Keep using the name Timmy, it's just easy. Billy, okay, I use Billy. Okay, Brad, I haven't used Brad yet, right? Or Paul, okay, Paul. Paul lives down the street. His family, his friends, everything around, his job is right there, and they still get sucked in, even though they live close to one of these facilities, but everything they need, their family support system and everything, and they still get sucked in. Imagine coming here with nobody. I don't even know if your English is that good. You know just enough English, but you travel just to join that, and you don't have nothing there but Scientology. That's it. You have nothing. You're in a whole nother country. You don't know where the fuck you at. You just know the coordinates to the Scientology building. You went there. that's all you got. It's a crazy rail in.
And they're just completely isolated from the people that they, you know, that they probably still love. I mean, that's how cults kind of work, right? They sort of isolate you to the point that, you know, they don't want you talking to your family, they don't want you talking to your friends, they only want you in their bubble, because once you're isolated, you're a lot easier to control. So that's kind of the avenue and route that I've seen sort of thrown into this.
Sounds like it.
Now, where the OSA comes in is obviously a lot of these kids are infiltrating a building where this organization operates in, and I feel like I feel like if this trend continues and the more this building gets mapped out, maybe at some point we might be able to see something that the church really doesn't want you to see. It's one of the reasons why, obviously, this is harassment, obviously, this is trespassing, but I'm sure that there's stuff that probably is happening in this building that the church doesn't want you to fucking see. You know, if it's one thing that this kind of reminds me of is like back in 2008, and God, dude, what?
Like I said, all that stuff is behind a hidden door somewhere where you get your retina scan, your fingerprint scan, and it's underground. Umbrella. Resident Evil is just like that.
Time fucking flies. Almost 20 years ago, there was shit like Project Chanology, where a bunch of these 4chaners were just, you know, wearing the Anonymous masks, just sort of showed up outside.
Oh, I mentioned Anonymous earlier. Damn, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah, that smoke is a different smoke.
The Scientology centers. And, you know, basically we're trying to raise awareness and talking about, you know, the evils of the Scientology group. And of course, it's crazy to see 20 years later, we're almost seeing this come back full circle, right? And a lot of this actually happened back in the day when Scientology appeared. You know, there was an allegation that, you know, Scientology went out of their way to remove a
Tom Cruise indoctrination video that Tom Cruise tried to suppress.
Video.
No, Scientology tried to suppress.
Featuring Tom Cruise that was pretty fucking embarrassing, because the big allegation at the time was obviously that Scientology had a really big control over the media apparatus, and because of how embedded they were with a bunch of celebrities in Los Angeles, they were able to rapidly spread their influence through them. And of course, obviously the people who were on the project...
So, as far as like Jews control everything, Jews control Hollywood, but how does Scientology infiltrate from under? I'm not gonna say Jews didn't have nothing to do with that. I don't think. Actually, no. There's a reason why I don't think that had nothing to do with that. I'm not gonna go into that whole spiel or why I think they had nothing to do with that. But
Chanology side, they didn't appreciate the fact that Scientology was able to scrub the internet at the time of, you know, things that made them look fucking bad. Now look, ultimately, and ladies and gentlemen, the Scientology trend is a wild place.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay,
don't do that. Y'all.
Started out as a place where people, anybody that didn't have any idea what Scientology was, you know, looking on the internet and thinking, wow, these kids are just
go watch the South Park episode. That's still up.
Raiding this fucking church. And I think the conversation sort of eclipses from just a bunch of kids mapping out the Scientology Center in LA to people finally opening their eyes and looking at what is, in my opinion, a rather controversial like cult, right? Like, I'm not somebody to dog anybody's religion. I think that's a pretty shitty thing to do. But when it comes to Scientology, guys, it's no doubt that there is some shady shit that this organization is involved into. And if it's one thing that I think these kids are kind of on the cusp of, is the more they keep rushing in, the more they keep showing, the more likely it is that people will probably find something really shady to come out of Scientology through this. I think the renewed vigor on looking at this cult is actually the more interesting part. Now, I do tend to agree with some of the critics in saying that, listen, I think raiding and harassing and fucking... trespassing on their property probably isn't the best look optically, but at the same time, like, it's one of those things where it's interesting to see the churches so much on edge, considering that they're calling this shit like hate crimes, getting the fucking LAPD.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, like, they're running to the buildings. Where are they going to find? They're just running to get to the end of a hallway, to get to another end of a hallway, to get to the end. They're hoping to run into a room with some wild shit going on in there. And they haven't ran into nothing yet. They've been doing this, and it looks like goddamn 1:30 p.m. and they're just running up in them. And they're not finding nothing but bored employees or whatever, members of Scientology just walking around.
Involved. It has the potential to turn really dangerous, as these internet trends often lead to.
Yeah, it could.
But I think if it's one thing to springboard off of, like I said, Scientology.
But dangerous for who? Because each situation has like goddamn 70 kids now involved, all at the same time, just speed running.
If you actually look into just how they got their tax exempt status, it's a story on its own. When you look into things like the Office of Special Affairs, where again, it's the only religion that I know of.
That's like their version of Mossad.
That has its own internal CIA operations center. When you look at all the critics that have come out of Scientology.
Like people will say the Mossad would be equal to that, but the Mossad, first of all, it's not there, nowhere near the same level. The Mossad is the CIA times 100 on crack cocaine. The OS, those Special Operation Affairs, wherever he was saying Scientology has, does not touch that with a feather, with nothing, with air. You know what I mean? But Mossad, that's more of an Israeli thing, and you can say the main religion in Israel is Jew, so you can say, oh, Jewish thing or whatever, blah blah blah. But I'll just leave it as a Israeli, you know, internal 007 organization, Mission Impossible type thing they got going on there. John Wick.
Even people that are literally familially related to the people at the top right now, it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down. And there's a lot more that I can talk about with Scientology, but I think this video has gone on long enough. If you like what you saw...
Now, I can say Muslims don't necessarily have one. That gets a little bit more complicated because they got like all the factions they have around the world are all labeled as like terrorists. Like you got the Houthis, Hamas, a whole bunch of other 3-letter organizations. There's a ton of groups. Some of these groups, actually a lot of these groups don't even freaking like each other. Like let's say Iran hires a bunch of Muslim Brotherhood type, you know what I'm saying? Let's say Iran and Hamas don't even really fuck with each other like that. But Iran will hire and pay Hamas to do some dirty work. But in all, like not all Shia Muslims like each other. A lot of them don't even like the Shia Muslims in Iran. I'm not even going into that whole spiel. But I found out and read about so much about like other different organizations that Muslims have like around the world, to the point that not only do you have Sunni and Shia Muslims, but if you look deeper inside, apparently Sunnis and Shias, they also have 3 different factions within them. In America, they're represented. Not really. Maybe in the back of some mosque somewhere, maybe, but more outside of America. Muslims out there are represented a lot differently than they are here in America, to a point, to the fact that you talk to a lot of ones out there in the Middle East, they'll tell you that they don't like the way that even Muslims are being depicted here in America. Because like the way, let's say you go to Miami and you see a bunch of strippers dressed in like no clothes, walking down the street talking about I'm Muslim. That's the type of shit they're talking about. They're like, yeah, you're a damn Muslim. Like Damona. Don't call me white girl. You might like her, you know, you might not like her, right? Everybody has their haters, but she identifies herself as Muslim. I've actually spoken to some other Muslims about that. I'm like, what do you think about, like, just in regular conversation? And then the dude, I think he was it was me, him, and there's a few other girls, like Muslim women and stuff. They were just like, yeah, we know who that is. We don't like her. I was like, why? Well, not necessarily her, but the way she says she's Muslim, the way she's represented, we just don't like. I'm like, what? We don't really like her. That's all shit. That's a whole. I'm up here going sidetracking and everything, but yeah, I don't condone these Scientology speed runs. They look wild as hell, whatever. But yeah, y'all be safe.